This is the brake and clutch bracket on this 65 Mustang. It bolts here and here from underneath here, and it bolts to the firewall with these 4 bolts. This bracket is wore out right there. It's a spring. When the spring's on it, when this spring is on this pedal right here, it pulls it that way, and it's been grinding right there. So pull the cotter pin out of that hole there, and then the brake pedal will drop. You can see where it's been grinding on the shaft from using it broken for so long. This goes up in here. This is the brake pad. It goes in here. So I got a bushing kit coming in the mail. This bushing here broke and grinded so much it took this away. And I'm thinking that creates a weak spot, so I don't know, I might want to weld that up or something and make that round again before I put the bushing back in. So bushing goes like this, hammers in. So I don't plan on using the clutch because I'm getting an automatic for this car. But that's what the brakes ride on, so I'm gonna rebuild that. Okay, so this is just mocked in there. It's not even close, but it gives me an idea that this bend might work, because this was a pillar bar. It was supposed to go right here inside the car and up the window and all the way back to the main hoop, but it wasn't bent right because it was made for a fox body. And I made the other hoop, the top hoop, work for this car, so I don't need these. So I'm thinking, because when you do the Mustang 2 front end, you need a support here, and some people are welding it straight to here and then coming in and going like that. But I was thinking if I go down a couple more inches to say about here and drill a hole, shoot straight through and attach to this bar right here, it'd be about right there on the bar, and it'd shoot across on both sides, and then so it would shoot straight through here and come out here, and then it would probably, the bend would start say here because it's about 6 or 8 inches from the cage now, and then you'd twist that so it would bend, and then I'd have to just figure out where to cut that to get it to touch that frame to weld it. Alright, so this is even better. So it's right at the end there though, but I think I need to also drop down a couple inches and come in the top corner here. Let's see, get this out of the way. And that dives down under the dashboard, and then it comes in like that. I'll go to the other side. See where it crosses. I could tie it in right there. That'll probably be alright. And if I try real hard, I might be able to get it down to the floor, but it seems like it's at the perfect angle right now, so that's probably not possible. But if I drop it down 2 inches here, and even with it that long, it has room to drop down, but I cut that short, drop that down 2 inches, it'll be even 2 inches lower. It'll be 2 inches lower still. So the lower, the closer I get to the floor, the better. Because if it's down here, I was noticing that if I put it down here where I was talking about to miss the dash, then it's going to want to hit the tire when the tire goes up and down. So this is actually better. And I burned my thumb. Thumb's starting to burn because I was welding on that bracket, and I dropped it, and I caught it and grabbed it with my right in the hot spot and burnt my thumb. Anyway, I could raise that up because that's pointed down slightly. I could raise that up at least 3 inches, and that would bring that angle down, and I could probably get it to the floor, actually. So this is really good. I used my fancy new plasma cutter, and I cut a round hole big enough for that pipe to go in, and that's butted right up against the pipe, so it's going to have to go in just a little bit more to make that cope right. And then it's touching here, so the further I go in, the further down it's probably going to go, which will give me a little bit more length there. So I think I'm going to be able to fine tune this, and then I might be able to just bring some brackets over. Of course, I'll have to put the fender on and see how that works before I get too far. That's what that looks like right now. So that's at least an inch of grind in there and an inch of length, and it's nice and low too. I wanted to get all the way down to the floor, but if I can't, that's probably okay. So this is working out really good. I think it's gonna fine tune right into place. Okay, this is right at the end here. So might have to figure something out there, but I got the fender on and it's not hitting, it's not in the way. So that's gonna work. And it's gonna be completely hidden. It's a little not level. It might be level when the engine's in, but I don't know that it really matters because the fender's going to cover it. It's not going to be seen. So I don't think I have to really worry about it looking that good. The joint's not bad. And I'm probably not going to be able to weld back here, but I'll be able to weld from here all the way around. So I think that's probably good enough because a lot of cages don't get welded all the way around. And I could probably even take a bar and go straight across. That would really strengthen it up, probably. Just gotta figure out how I want to finish that complete. Because I think it's got enough hanging on. So we'll see. Alright, they're both tacked in. And the cowl fits, and I reach down under here, and there's plenty of room for, I don't know about attaching the venting stuff. I might have to do something there, but this is not interfering. There's that piece right there that I would put on to do the stock stuff for the heater and whatever. That might have to be messed with a little bit because it sticks out just a tad. But it's, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not putting the original heater back in it anyway, probably. So that's the only, that's a future problem that I don't have to worry about right now, because that is needed. When you have the Mustang 2 front end, you have to have that because the original design had these cross members that went in the corners off of the shock towers. And so this will stiffen it up enough to where it's not going to be doing this stuff when I hit bumps and whatever, even though it's got a full unibody frame connector kit on it that'll stiffen it up quite a bit more. So that's that side. That's that side. Turned out pretty well. And I actually got it down in the corners. And that's, I think, better by design. And I might take a bar and triangle right there. But I can do that later at any point, I suppose. And I probably should do that because it'd put quite a bit more strength into it. Put one right there too. And I might even be able to do a down bar from there to the floor if I want. Although I don't think that'll be necessary, honestly. I'm pretty pleased with this. I'm going to weld that all the way around and chop it off on the end. That one too. Chop it off on the end. And I might come back with a plate and come in here and come in like that and then weld around this and get it attached here nice and strong. This is thick. I just I got sloppy. Oh, you can't see it. I got sloppy when I was doing it. So I'll just put a fish plate there and weld that whole area in. Okay, pretty much done. I welded nearly around both sides. I didn't get underneath of them over there and like underneath that. I didn't get underneath over here, but I got underneath out here. So, and I got all the way around as much as I could on both sides, so it should be watertight. And then I got it welded right there, almost all the way around. And right there, almost all the way around. Can't get between the frame of the car, so, and I gotta fill in that hole right there on that box eventually, and put the door bars in from here to there. It's not going to be today though. And then a seat belt bar across here, diagonal bars from here to there and there to there. And I might still do an X right there. And I think I could do a dash bar now from there to the other side right there, all the way across. And I'd probably be out of the way of my foot feet. And that would really, at least I'd have the dash bar then. That's actually a really good idea. I could put the dash bar in. Well, I better put the steering in first, but I can probably go above the steering because the steering's going to go in that hole, and I bet you I could put a bar here, somewhere in here, and get behind all this stuff, and I'm gonna have a dash bar. Cool, only it's gonna be a firewall bar because the dash is way back here, but it'll be, might be necessary. I don't know. That's a future problem. But this is it for this video. So I'm really happy that this worked out so well using these bars, because they weren't even for this. So feeling pretty stoked, even though you can't tell by my voice.